Now we are live. I seen some people in the comments asking when we start. We were gibby gabbing. Sorry.
Yeah.
We were
I'll
talking
see
about
if I
drunk
can get the
babies and
comments.
things.
Hey,
You know how we do.
good. Hippie Gypsies there. Hi. Chris Wickens, Gingerly. Oh, that's so cool. Okay,
So how y'all doing? Hope you're well.
that's good.
It's it was what 44 degrees 2 days ago. Now it's 87 degrees or something.
Oh, that's ugly. Oh, wow.
Mother
Yeah.
Nature's having a menopause moment outside.
I reckon, totally. Becca's here. Hi, Becca. Oh, how about this, guys? Hand on heart, we did not plan this. We're both wearing our Lord Have All the Mercy t-shirt.
We are.
I
Now,
love that.
mind you, it's hot, so I ain't gonna take it off. But man, I remember making that shirt. Man, that was special. I just knew by this time all the letters would have fallen off because all the other letters that I've had have all fallen off.
Well, I keep this specially between special paper.
Okay.
Don't say I don't love you, John. Special paper. All my other t-shirts are in a pile,
Because I had mine, they were just there, and this letter would scrape and that letter would scrape. This one fall all the way off.
Yeah.
And now next thing you know, they're all in the trash. This is the only one. You're wearing the only one that has survived.
The Survivor. Survivor Island.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
But
my word.
it was fun.
Yeah. Excellent. So here we are. It is Thursday morning in Australia, just letting you know. I got out of bed specially for you guys. But I'm back in bed. You may or may not have noticed. Here we are.
In the future.
In the future.
And then after this, I do believe the House of Lenormand is also going live. So y'all make sure once you leave here, you go right over there.
Oh, cool.
Check out her live stream. We're going to do I had a few questions here. We're, of course, going to start with everybody's favorite mayor, former mayor. I almost called him Andrew. Giuliani. What's his name? Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
Rudy Giuliani has had a search warrant for his house and his office. What I want to know is what is found and what is next.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Good old Giuliani.
What did Michael Cohen say? Here we go, he said, everything. And it's like that. We've all been hanging in for so long, and it's a new day.
Thank you, Marie. Yeah, I looked it up, Marie. It was the money is still there, apparently, with the Texas Department of Education. It just hasn't been issued out to the places it's supposed to go.
Oh, okay. Oh, and someone just said they're calling him Giuliani now. Oh, let's have a look at Rudy. Oh.
What's next?
Oh, my God. Oh. She muttered. Shall I start?
You go whenever you're ready.
Okay. It starts with the lover's card because I think this is when he was, the allegedly everybody's favorite mayor. This is what's come out and how far he's fallen, because his sort of middle of the night dealings, Three of Pentacles here, have caught up. He thought he could walk away even at the late stage. Then I think he realized he couldn't. And that's when he decided to sort of go harder. This is the Knight of Wands. Like, I think he was thinking, I'll back off now. This circus is over. I'll cover my ass and be sensible. And then he realized, I think that was maybe a year ago, more than that. And he realized he could only go forward. But by going forward, look, he could be looking at jail. I am quite surprised about this. I really, really am. He's so old that I think they'll forgive him at the last minute and put him under house arrest or something. But the threat of jail is very real, I think, for him. I didn't pick up on what they actually found. How did you go, Johnny?
Me either. Well, sort of. I did. I got it's not incriminating though to lay down the hammer. I think there's going to be developments, is because here we're reaching a cycle. Thank you, Chris. There is an ending to a cycle. An ending to a cycle that just came after they left the government as well, with the Hierophant. So they're picking up something that he did while under the campaign and while he was personal counsel to the president or something of that nature. This goes back a ways too. There is something else there that may be unrelated to Donald Trump, because it goes a ways back, and it may have something to do with his family personally. That is going to undergo a huge change also for his son, who is trying to posture as if he is running for governor of New York. But there's going to be a huge change for his son, I do believe. There's also some worry about money that was acquired for Donald Trump. There was some sort of action, and it might be money. This could be information. I know he's the one that went over and got the Russian propaganda that even Lindsey Graham called Russian propaganda. And so there might be some information on that too. As far as what's next, that part I don't see. I don't know what they're going to do after that, because this is just starting.
This is just starting, and we'll keep our eye on that. But I think between us, you got the content, and I got what's likely to happen. And I think it's going to be serious court stuff coming down the pike. But see, like with all these cases, it depends what they call it. It depends what charge they get, and that can vary hugely,
Because he's got to be biting all his fingernails at the same time right now, because they're searching your office. It's kind of like what they did to Manafort when they just walked in his house and started picking up stuff.
And Michael Cohen, the search and then the arrest.
The company you keep, sir.
Yeah.
So let's switch from him to, can I make an even transition? Not really. We'll just go up the list. How about that?
Yeah, cool.
The Prime Minister of Baghdad has ordered an investigation into, the Prime Minister of Iraq has ordered an investigation into the Baghdad hospital fires. Because the wing of the hospital that caught fire was treating COVID patients. I believe 84 people died. And the roof was made of a completely flammable material, and like nothing, there was no sprinklers, there was no backup system to make sure things like this didn't happen. So will they find foul play, or was this an accident?
Okay.
Because what happened was an oxygen tank sparked the fire. And so let's see.
Iraq and the fire. Oh, that's weird. Mm. I think the thing that surprises me about these cards, not the fact that it happened, and I would say, yes, there was foul play. Yeah, not so much that it happened, but that there's an investigation into it is actually surprising. And a serious investigation. It's not a Mickey Mouse thing. Wow. I'm quite surprised, I have to say. So, it's working out this camera again. The sun definitely shining, not just a little candlelight, a blazing spotlight on what happened, which they'll need. Here's the high priestess. So people will be covering people, layers. I think there's going to be layers to this investigation that probably not even the Prime Minister thought. He probably thought 84 dead, this is bad, we have to go through this and explore. But I think he's going to be quite surprised as well. Wait, I'm just getting a hit. Medical corruption. You don't hear that much. What I think it means is because of COVID, there's been a lot of money spent everywhere. And I think they're going to uncover what's happened to the COVID aid money, the money Iraq has spent itself, all of this other stuff is underneath it. This, I think, is the Prime Minister himself, the King of Cups. I think he's sincere in wanting to get to the bottom of it, but it's like, careful what you wish for. He gets the star. Careful what you wish for, because he's going to find no end of other crapola.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I get that too. I think that there is, yes, there is some foul play. I don't think everybody who is involved now has information on it. So that's where I get to that there is some surprise that this kind of thing happened, but it is around actual death, because my Ten of Swords is here as well. Death is not, it's change, but when I get supporting cards that say, yeah, this is actual death. But yeah, the Page of Cups, that's their surprise. This is kind of out of nowhere. There is medical corruption. With the Five of Pentacles, this is my card for COVID especially. And then here is your people in charge. The Emperor is not a bad card. It's just authority, father figure, that kind of thing. For me, it's a bad card because it's a person that's drunk on power.
Yeah.
And so I think also somebody might be in the process, or at least the thinking process, of fleeing with the Six of Cups and the Eight of Cups. Somebody might want to run because things may be getting a little heavy. There is money here with the Seven of Pentacles. This is seeded money. So I don't know why they would do this. Maybe there is, I don't know. But there is somebody's corrupted money here. Seven of Cups. This is why the investigation is here, because nobody knows why at the moment. But
yeah. It would make sense in a way that there is this other money that we hadn't thought about. And that's what it's really about. I was like,
I want to ask, will anybody be held accountable for this? But
right, because that's a completely different question.
I kind of, at the same time, I want to ask, will the right person be held accountable for this? Because somebody could just be a fall guy all of a sudden, just to say,
a scapegoat,
something was wrong and we caught him.
Oh, these are heavy cards. Hmm. Yeah. Goodness me.
Thank you, Adrian.
What do you think, John?
I I think yes, but no, not the right person. Um, I get justice is here, but I get the Queen of Cups. There's someone within the hospital, but it's a supporting role. Like it's not the doctor or the head of something. It's or if it's some if I the moon. Okay, the moon means that there's something deeper here. There is more to the corruption, and I got the Two of Swords. Someone is also blind to the actual facts. They're not making the correct decision. They're just trying to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think that with the Ace of Swords, which is your clarity, meeting the Ten of Swords, and the Eight of Wands means that somebody may just be trying to rush to judgment. They're trying to rush to get this over with. They're trying to hold anybody and everybody accountable, and then they'll put the thing to rest.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
I'm not surprised at all, and I got some of those cards. So, starting with the Two of Swords, what are we going to do about this? Nothing to do actually with what really happened. I think also with the two, there are two stories coming together here. I think the person who did the act of arson was motivated by um, ideology or whatever, hating people who had COVID, and they're the ones that are ruining the world, sort of blaming the victim is what I'm trying to say. That's what motivated, I think, the person who started it. But in this process, they're going to find this other information that they're going to have to worry about, because they didn't expect to find it. It was operating on a completely different level, this taking of the money. And then some sort of, hardcore extremist went and actually did it.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to be, so the King of Pentacles is going to be exposed. In this case, I don't think it's one person. I think it's that tight group at the top of any country that has serious money in this case, not just one. And they're worried about their loss of prestige and faith. I also got the Queen of Cups. So I agree. I think the lid will be put on the cups. They're going to find this, can of worms or whatever, and then they go, we're not going there. We'll just slam the lid on, and they'll just pick someone for the fall.
Mercy. Yeah, that's what I think too. So the next we'll go to India, which is having a COVID crisis like none other.
Yeah.
Will that stabilize soon, or will this be a trend for some time to come?
All right. Poor India. Oh my God. India. And I don't think Modi, I think that's his name, the Prime Minister, I don't think he's totally in touch with reality at the best of times. And I don't think so now. Apparently, he's putting out these propaganda films of people frolicking in the Ganges and stuff,
That everything's all right.
What fell out? King of Cups. Ha! India, will it be all right? Or go on?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, wow. Okay. Will I go?
Yes, you're right here.
Okay, what fell out was the King of Cups. Now, for those of you learning tarot, the King of Cups, it's my Biden card, usually a nice guy, an older man who actually gets other people's emotion, you know. When he's not a nice guy, as in this case, it's emotional manipulation. All right, so just that thing, yeah, manipulating public opinion. This is an assault like no other that certainly in living memory in India has not taken place. But here's the thing, I then get 3 major arcanas in the row. I get the Star, the Judgment, and the Magician in here. Right, so what to make of that? There's an opportunity here for India. There is a massive opportunity amidst the horror for people to wake up, being called, and reach the potential as a country, almost as if this hadn't happened, to be this bad. If it hadn't happened, India wouldn't move much further than it has. It's modernized quite quickly, but now it's sort of plateaued. And I think the Magician is saying it's going to be completely transformed by this. It's a gift in disguise is what I get, and justice, it will come forward. So I don't get a timeline. I was trying for a timeline. Just that it's epic. I can't even find the words for saying how epic it is for the country. But there is a gift inside the horror.
I don't get a timeline either, and I think because if you look at anybody's trend with COVID, it lasts until you can get at least the majority of your citizenry on board to do the same thing, if not the right thing. I was about to use a different deck, and it's kind of based on, well, it is actually the Rider-Waite is just all shiny and things. So I started to use that one, but Spirit told me to use this one, and I'm like, well, I want to use the shiny one. But I didn't use this one, and so I had to put the shiny one down. But the reason why is the Rider-Waite traditional depiction of the Ten of Swords is the swords in the back.
Yeah.
This one has the swords in the front, and it was the first card I pulled, which means they saw this coming. Is what it wanted to say to me. The proof for the pudding is in the eating, as they say. And so this was a long time coming. You've had the evidence of other people's struggle with COVID. This is not, and I'm not trying to do the blame game thing, but however, you saw it coming. This is not, it's in the news, therefore it's a big story. It's a huge thing because so many people are getting it at the same time and so many people are dying, and it's devastating, like it has been everywhere. You saw this coming. So whatever it was you didn't have in place, you're now paying for it. Your security was lax, your security was down, or whatever the case may be. They will receive some outside help here with the Three of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. They will receive some outside help. So it's not like they're going to suffer alone. And mind you, they are an ally of this country and others. So it's not like they don't have a financial interest in you being back on your feet as fast as possible. And so the governments will get together and there will be some solutions. At the very least, there will be some steps forward. Now, if I had to go with the timeline, I would say in the next, well, this might be for anybody. Next 3 years, you can have 80% of your populations vaccinated. But we do have a celebration here at the end. So there is some community. There's at least 2 countries that will put some stuff in place to help India. But this is not a unique story. So it's India right now. Who is it next type thing.
Yeah. And we're not hearing from Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, the numbers are probably similar in Brazil.
In other places that, just don't want to say.
Yeah.
want it to sound like nothing's going on here, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Well, Vice President Harris and President Andreas of Mexico are going to have themselves a bit of a conflap. They're going to have a conversation on immigration and migration and the border and so forth and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Will that conversation lead to anything effective? Will they actually solve a problem, or is this just the initial meeting and we'll have to go back and forth for the next 3 years?
Yeah, exactly. But at least someone's talking to someone. That's a start.
Thank you. Yes. Oh.
Yep, that's taken 40 years.
Yeah.
So let's hope it speeds up a bit from here.
And since they're trying to groom her to be president one day, so she's taking on all these things that other vice presidents pretty much never have.
Mm. Yeah, let's Mexico and the border. Mexico and the border. Mexico and the border. Oh my word. I'll be honest, the last thing I expected was a positive outcome.
What'd you get?
Well, I got the lovers, meaning their conversation's going to go well. They're actually going to connect.
Cups.
Yeah, 2 cups, same thing. They are actually going to connect as people, and that's important because so much of the world, the good, the bad, and the ugly, rests on personalities coming together as much as the positions, So in other words, the vice president could be talking to this one, but it doesn't go anywhere. They actually get each other, and that's massive. Wheel of Fortune, I'm really pleased to see that here because it's like, if ever there's going to be a time, this is a window. This is so important. There is energetically, in terms of the universe, a will for this to finally turn. The moon, is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be straightforward? No. Is everyone going to be on board? No. Difficult, complicated, but still worth the conversation. Got the star. So I think it will go on. Something will happen.
So I start with the World and the King of Pentacles. This is a good outlook. As Lena just said, it's at least we're talking to somebody. Somebody's doing some talking back and forth.
Yeah.
Instead of this, it's your responsibility because it's your people, but it's your border, so it's yours. Actually having a conversation. And it has legs with the 2 of Cups and the Empress. So it has legs. It has life. It will continue to go somewhere. The governments will speak to one another. They will sort of like mine on the same page. That's how it starts. So that's good.
All right.
To keep it going, however, does take a lot more cooperation. It takes a lot more. It's diplomacy, and diplomacy is not easy, but it's always lovely when there's the parts of the diplomacy, the people in the diplomacy are at least attempting diplomacy.
And I think both of them genuinely want something to happen. They might not get there. The whole thing might not get there in our lifetimes, but they actually want it.
That's my outcome. Is this is going to be solved later on. Now, mind you, everything would be lovely if everything was fixed today or tomorrow or yesterday. But diplomacy takes patience. A lasting solution also takes more work with these 7 of Pentacles than just putting a seed in the ground. But sometimes that's your only position. that your only job is to put the seed in the ground. If Kamala Harris can establish a conversation between the two countries, the Queen and King of Pentacles, if she can establish a conversation, a groundwork, a floor for us to stand on and talk, then if she's president, then she can continue these conversations. And if they take past her presidency, then she has at least built a relationship that the next person can pick up, which is why you also have to be vigilant about voting, even in your local elections, because what we don't need is for Biden to go forth, establish conversations and connections with Mexico about immigration, and then we get some orange green tyrant in here next time, and then it all goes back to start one.
Exactly. So also, if someone like Beto O'Rourke in 4 years' time or 3 years' time gets in, Texas, who's very much part of the conversation, is a different Texas than who they've got now.
Yes.
And just another digression briefly. America has spent eye-watering sums of money on the military, since before the Second World War, right? And now pulling out of the Middle East, having destabilised the Middle East, I will say. And I can say that as an Australian because we go everywhere you go, right? We're going to do this ridiculous thing. Oh, we'll come. Hang on, we'll be there.
This is true.
Right? New Zealand doesn't do that. They say, no, we'll send a medical corps to pick up the mess. Okay, get back to us. No, we jump in. So I can say we were the first in the coalition of the willing. Now, after these ridiculous, pointless wars in the Middle East, imagine if some of that money, just some of that money, was diverted to support the economies and create new economies in El Salvador, in Honduras, and Mexico itself, feeding in to stemming the tide. People don't leave home because it's a fun idea. They leave because they're desperate. And so if you had two programs, one particularly with agricultural workers, it already exists, but it's not upfront enough, where you can come on a working thing and you go and work for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and you go back, to do it properly and well. And the other is to help stabilize those countries rather than running around in the desert.
Yeah.
Look after your neighbors first.
Nobody flees a good time.
Yeah.
And then you come over here and they would rather be treated bad as an immigrant who can't speak the language than to have absolutely nothing. Yes. So it's not like they're fleeing to a good time. They're just fleeing from the worst to the slightly better.
Yeah, exactly. And if it was done cleverly and properly and thoroughly, border towns like Juarez, where it's, they're just out of control towns, could actually get on top of the gangs and actually create economies in those towns, and actually cure more than one social problem. Why don't we rule the world, Johnny?
Because people think I'm crazy and I play with magic cards.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I don't have the temperament to do it. I have patience for people, but I don't have patience for people when I told you the right thing and then you continue to do the wrong thing.
That's right. That's right.
But talking of patience and wrong things, I don't remember his name. I got it on my phone, but I'm not looking it up, for he deserves no publicity. It's bad enough I have to say the other name. Norfolk Police Department. One of the officers, a lieutenant, lost his job for $25. He gave $25 to the legal defense of Kyle Rittenhouse, a mass murderer who crossed state lines. He's all of 18-something years old, to go kill people. And he gave him $25. Now, this is a lieutenant, an active lieutenant for the Norfolk Police Department. He lost his job. He gave Rittenhouse a message also saying, you did nothing wrong and we stand behind you. Are there other officers in the Norfolk Police Department who support Kyle Rittenhouse.
Mm.
He just got caught. Mind you, he made the donation anonymously. Somebody ratted him out, though, I guess. I forgot what the story said.
Yeah.
But
Let's have a look. Active police supporting Rittenhouse. Police. What's active? Hmm. Yeah, wow. Shall I kick off
yes, if you want.
with the death card? And even though we always say, it's rarely about literal death, blah, 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 you know what? I think this is the dead people talking here who he actually killed. I didn't expect them to turn up. King of Swords and the Emperor, like bookends, meaning they reinforce each other's macho, we rule the world, white supremacists meets, total fascism stuff, which is part of the culture which has to be changed in the police forces. Not only police in Norfolk, but other places. Here's the world. Support it because this is how they think. This is the type of guys they are. They wouldn't even understand the question. They think it's normal behavior to do this, and they're backing each other behind the scenes. I think there's ripples. These guys, though, are so fundamentally stupid, they don't realize they're leaving a digital footprint. Right? And I think they go, yeah, he was only trying to save us all. As their knuckles drag along the bitumen.
Uh-huh.
This is not good. Yes, in Norfolk and beyond, but they're going to be sprung.
So the answer to the question, yes.
Yeah.
There is here with the Magician, Knight of Cups. There is more, and as Lena is saying, this is actually even bigger than this, and that's what the cards primarily want to say is if you ever look at a systemic anything, a system of whatever, and say, I wonder if more of this is going on, the answer is always yes.
Yeah, right.
Because that one person is not the lone wolf of, this conglomerate of people, and they're doing one thing by themselves. If there is one gross person, there's at least there's 10 others, and they all meet in the mop closet and say, this is what we're going to do. And then they emerge one at a time,
Yeah, totally.
So yes, there is more support. I do believe that more of them will be caught because there is a strength around. Now, mind you, maybe I shouldn't say, well, actually, I'll say it because it ain't like they're watching, because they would be a little smarter than they were if they were watching. But if you're going to do stupid stuff, don't put it on social media.
Yeah.
And I think that's how they get caught, is because the strength around this incident is still too big. And so people on the outside are still looking in to find more answers. Why did he do this? Who else was he connected to? Such and such and such and such, So there's going to be more revelations on this, and there's going to be more people going down because, mind you, this lieutenant gave this child $25. I mean, there's not a charity you could have gave that to. $25, but that I did a reading on what the heck is that thing called? Give, Send, Go.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
and they have raised $500,000 for this little boy. So I'm pretty sure there's a whole lot of this lieutenant energy going on in that police department. He was not the lone wolf. And so more of them will be caught, especially if you are on your social medias, which he has since deleted, saying how Kyle Rittenhouse is your hero. Oh, good Lord.
I know. It takes your breath away, doesn't it? We shouldn't be so bad. Yeah. I'm going to get my spray. Hold on. I've got my magic spray.
Oh. Because what
I'll even spray you and the viewers. Here we go.
Thank you. Yes.
Feeling fresh.
Oh, geez. Because why?
But in the big picture.
Yes, please.
I have to believe, I hope lots of you guys do too, I have to believe it has to get this crude, this exposed, this out there, this bald, ugly stuff has to be out, not under, for it to be dealt with finally, even if that's a generational change. If it stays under the carpet, it just rots the carpet, and then it rots your floorboards, and then your house falls down.
Yes, that's very true. This kind of thing needs to be brought to the light.
Ugly as that is.
Yeah, that's true, though. Because Donald Trump, their president, he's not a new thing. He's just a symptom of, the overall sore, that thing that's always underneath.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, it does get nasty. And mind you, to that point, because I see King's here says, for how long, though? That's a good point, too. Like, how long does this need to be going before it gets better? It has been getting better. It's just not reported that way in the news. But if you just look at the screen, this would not have happened 60 years ago.
That's right.
With some black guy from Oklahoma and white lady from Australia.
That's right.
Let alone talking to each other and then doing this at the same time.
From the white lady's bedroom.
And not
like that had happened.
So it gets better. It's just not always, they don't report the good part. They just tell you what's ugly going on, and that's fine too, because you can go look up the good part if that's something you really want to see.
Yeah.
But I mean, just look at your screens. Go Google anything on YouTube, and then you'll find this. But I hear what you're saying. It just seems like, okay, how long until the good part pops in? Well, here's the good part right here. It gets better. It really does. The earth is always getting better, even though it just always seems like it's not.
And I'd like to add to that. The other thing is we are looking at everything through Earth time. Yeah. Right. And so every day might seem like an agony, and that 4 years was certainly, the longest 4 years in living memory. But once these things move on and are over, it looks like the blink of an eye. It's us that get caught up in wanting dates and set times. And changes can happen quite quickly once they start. There can be a turnaround.
And who else said that? Where was that? Linda Bishop. Yes, there's 888 people watching us right now.
Oh, hi, every one of you. That's a big number.
We all come from all kinds of backgrounds and things and thises and that's. So, world's getting better. We just have to remember that.
That's right. That's right.
But speaking of getting better.
Yeah.
The GOP is not getting better. So much so that its saviors are Mike Pence and George Bush.
Wow.
If I'm ever drowning, please don't call either one of them. Your saviors are Mike Pence. Now I get that they are the model Republican, But right now you have been hijacked by the tyrant and died by the Yeti, as you say. And so will George Bush, because he's back on the scene now, will he be effective in helping to save his dying party?
Let's see.
They're bringing out all the old guns.
Yeah.
To deal with the new people.
Let's see. George W. Can he have any influence?
The future of your party rests with George Bush.
I know, that's a very worrying thought.
Then Marjorie Taylor and Kemp and Caitlyn Jenner. That's your party right there.
Yeah. And women, when they're bad, they're really bad. Really bad. Oh, I just got the Queen of Swords. Speaking of bad women. Well, what have you got, Johnny?
I get that it is not. There are some children who, I say children, they're 20, 21, 20, I don't know. But they're in college, one of these fancy ones where you can have a really good learning of whatever it is you're trying to learn. They have created a device that you can put out fire with sound waves.
Wow.
But in particular instance, that does not work. And Spirit was saying to me, you cannot talk a fire out. This is the time.
Right.
And the problem happening right now is they started too late to correct this.
Yeah.
They started too late to correct this, and your house is on fire. You can't scream it out, though. You can't talk it out. You're talking literally to people who will do anything for the orange one. And it's too late. I mean, this is going to be this way for quite some time.
Yep.
Can't yell.
I couldn't agree more. So, they're talking with each other, and that's all. And then there's these nice cards, they agree with, the half a dozen sane Republicans that are left, and they're hoping to lay the foundation of either renew the party or even, I think they're talking about a new party and all of that. But it's way too late. No one else is listening to them. They're just juggling on the sidelines of the circus and heartbreak. It's not going to make any difference to these people, the bigger people. Poor old George.
And this is interesting. My Two of Cups card. This is their conversation. This is what it looks like.
Yeah. That's it, really.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Throw your hands up and say, okay, I'll wait them out or something. But what you need is a plan on how to establish a new norm. And what you really, this is don't take this advice, those out there, because this is not coming from Spirit. Let me say this. What you really need to do is sabotage Donald Trump. You have got to set him up to look like the bad guy. That way you can take your party back, but you do what you want to do, because
that's very good advice for them, Johnny. Yeah. That's really good advice. Instead of propping him up, they should be actually because they're quite capable of doing devious things, so they could do it for themselves. Because
your supporters follow you. You go start with Fox News. The greatest way to win a fight is to undermine your enemy's allies. So you go to Hi, Jen. Thank you. You go to Fox News, you go to OANN, you go to Parlor, you go to, Oscar the Grouch, wherever you need to go and say, hey, this is what I need you to say. And guess what
Yeah.
they're going to do? They're going to go say it. They don't have any scruples. They're going to say it.
Yeah.
So start to tear down the orange one, and then you can lift up the white one. There you go.
That's right. It's a great idea. But back to the question, no, they haven't got a hope.
Because you waited too long. You let him hijack, and now he's a pop star.
That's right.
He's
And
their
it doesn't
idol.
matter now. All the court cases that will unfold with Trump, they're going to say it's deep state, it's a witch hunt. They really blew it. They got into bed with the devil, and now they've got a dose.
Speaking of the devil, DeJoy.
Oh.
Biden's board of governors, he now has a 5-4 advantage. I believe they have been confirmed.
Oh,
so is DeJoy on his way out now that Biden has his picks confirmed?
Oh, surely.
He said one of the things he wanted to do was take the priority mail, which is 1 to 3 days, and make it 1 to 5. He wanted to. He basically said he was trying to keep the postal service from losing billions of dollars.
Yeah, look, how come they're losing billions of dollars when everyone's getting everything sent from eBay and everywhere else to them? Something's wrong. People are probably wondering, or not, why I only have so few decks of tarot cards, unlike your good self, Joan. And that's because I'll go on Etsy or somewhere, see these killer cards, $24, love that, $38 to post them to Australia is the cheapest. If I want them in the next 2 years, it costs more. That's the slow boat.
Thank you, Igor.
Yeah, really.
I just had
Igor.
a deck shipped from Australia, and I can almost guarantee she ate some of the cost because it got here very fast, but it still took me $16 to get it here.
Yeah.
And
that's interesting in itself. It's 16 to send it one way and 38 to send them the other way. What does this tell you?
When I did that giveaway, like the largest giveaway thing I did on the channel, I did get like 21 decks. It was someone in, it was 2 people in Australia.
Oh, really?
Where's Newcastle upon Tyne?
Newcastle. It's about 2.5 hours north of Sydney.
Okay. I sent something there. That took 50, and this, mind you, this is a UPS store though. They mark everything up. This was $50 to $60 something dollars. $63 for the shipping to send it. And then
it's crazy.
The other one was $30 something dollars to send it.
Yeah.
From here to there.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like they're paying for first class seats on Concorde. It's just a parcel. Yeah.
That's all of this big.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Okay. Where are we? DeJoy.
DeJoy.
There's something about that name, isn't it?
Louis DeJoy.
What's going to happen to him now?
I get he's moving on. 6 of Swords and the Lover's card. There is a victory on the other side there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, however, the problem is there is a lot of broken things in place too. And it was almost broken on purpose because he was working with someone here.
Yeah.
Yes, he's on his way out, but there's a lot of just crap that he broke and on purpose because, mind you, he was trying to help his friend get elected. So there's a lot that's going in a very bad direction, but that'll be for the new person to solve. But yeah, he's on his way out.
Yep, totally. Couldn't agree more. So he's fought off quite a few attempts to get rid of him behind the scenes. He gets the death card. It's the end of his reign in that role. Like you, Six of Swords, sayonara, you know. Knight of Swords, he'll be going out the door backwards screaming, I've been robbed, like, I did what everyone asked of me. No, you didn't. You were an incompetent, malicious moron. No, that will be your legacy, what you actually did. Yeah, but he lives in Disneyland. That
Yes.
should be his postal address. He doesn't, I don't think he's entirely well, if you take my meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why you got the Seven of Cups, didn't you? I think he's
Right,
quite...
yeah, that's how it ended.
Yeah, he's literally deluded.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
So, I think so, too. Well, speaking of deluded, there is an argument going back and forth about the capital gains tax.
Yeah.
Saying that is going to hurt the economy. Now, mind you, as you always say in your videos, the economy and the stock market are not the same thing. But in this argument, they are using it as it is. And they are saying that a capital gains tax, which is at 20%, is going to be raised to 39% on people who make $1 million or more. That this is going to hurt the stock market, which hurts the economy, and so forth and so forth. Is any of that true? What kind of effect would it have?
Okay. Raising the capital gains tax.
And we were talking beforehand. I think that needs to be adjusted. $1 million is not rich in California, New York. It's not rich in Texas. It's not rich. There are places where the economy in spots is just beyond ridiculous, and $1 million is not rich. And so I get what they're trying to do is saying you make $1 million a year, therefore you have a lot of money. Not really.
Okay, let me jump in here too. As an old lefty now, not the cards. It was very tempting. And back in the day, they used to have, it was called progressive taxation. The more you earned, the more tax you paid, till it got really ridiculous, right? And I think there's several problems with that. One is, if you go hard on taxing the rich, they do just move their money and they don't pay it. What I think is more effective is make it 20, 25% for everybody, but make them pay it is a better tactic, because what you're alluding to, Johnny, even you are saying, like, a lot of people, they understand that $1 million isn't what it was in the 70s or something. People also think, particularly in America, they think like they want to be rich. So they think, if I was rich, I wouldn't want to be taxed all that. So they identify with the rich guy, right? Whereas if you make it everyone's paying the same, that changes their headspace and go, well, I have to pay it. Why doesn't he pay it, right? I think you get a better result by not going up and up and up. Just make them pay it and close those loopholes that they can send it offshore. But that's my humble opinion. Let's see what the cards say. Will it affect the economy, the stock? Capital gains.
Because when you learn that GE paid $0 and you paid $2,000 or whatever the case, then
Exactly. That's my point. Google pays basically nothing. Amazon pay basically nothing. These huge companies pay basically nothing. So 25%, everyone has to pay it, I don't know what I think here. This is the other thing about tax too that's weird. Trump cleverly in 2017, it wouldn't have been his idea because he doesn't actually have an idea, but his people give the big tax break to the rich, and the tax for the poor was going to go up in 2021, which seemed like a million miles away, right? At the time, and they're going to come on stream now, and everyone's going to go, see, Biden, those socialists, look what we're paying. So the Dems should get smarter and start saying, your Trump tax is coming due. We'd like to keep it and use it for schools or something. Get ahead of the game. Get ahead of the game on this. Anyway, this is murky, I think. Will I go?
I think, will it hurt the economy? No.
Yeah.
It starts with the tower. The tower is my yes or no. This is my no.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the 9 of Wands. What it does is it puts strain on those that it targets, because now you have to pay more money. Now, strain is relative, but I'll call it strain just to be fair. 3 of Swords and Justice. This will not lead to more money, though. I think it's just as Lena said, that once you start to tax people higher, they'll do nothing but move the money somewhere else. Or they find creative ways, like Mitt Romney writing off his horses. They'll find creative ways to make sure that their money is still intact. Rich people don't stay rich by giving all their money away. So they're going to find a way to make sure it stays where it's supposed to. There's a new thing, though. This is going to happen here with the Fool card, the Magician, and the 6 of Pentacles. This is going to happen. There will be a bump, and I won't say there's no money. There will be a bump in the finance because everybody's not going to leave. And let me say this too, cautionary tale. The Carnival Cruise, I think it's Carnival Cruise, their money is in the Panama. And because they don't want to pay U.S. taxes, but they operate out of the U.S., but their business is stationed there. When COVID hit and the cruise industry took the biggest of the hits of these industries, they couldn't get any of the stimulus money because they're not an American company. So there's also a cautionary tale into hiding things. I'm just
yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, of course they will hide. And I'm really sick of it because from the age of 10, I heard, oh, well, rich people have these loopholes, so it's not illegal. And 50 years later, I'm going, well, why are they still loopholes and why isn't it illegal? It just rolls each generation on. Oh, it's okay if you call it a family trust. It's okay if you do. Close those loopholes, but don't tax them. Anyway, shut up, Lena, and go to the cards. I got the 4 too. So it's new in a sense, but not new, but it will lead to something new. At this stage, it's still pie in the sky. They don't really think it's going to come off, I think, themselves, the Dems on some level. But King of Wands and Knight of Wands, it's an excuse to get the conversation on the table. And I think the conversation down the track will be all right. I don't think the market's going to drop through the floor or anything. A few wobbles, while they work out their next tax dodge, right? There'll be a few wobbles, but nothing that's earth-shattering, And I'm kind of amazed and relieved that there hasn't been huge aftershocks to Biden's election.
Yeah.
That's a relief. That's, I think, because big business was actually terrified of the Yeti. Because they don't like unstable and they don't like unpredictable. And of course, they all grabbed the tax cut and ran. But that was early days. I think they got very nervous about having a nutcase in the wheelhouse,
I think I believed, I should say, when he got in, that it wouldn't, thank you, Deborah, that it wouldn't tank things, that it wouldn't, I didn't believe that it was going to go bad, even though there was a bunch of reports of, oh, the stock market is at least going to drop this amount of points because of the uncertainty of the new administration. I don't think, because they don't have a person in there that changes his thought every 3 seconds. And
Yeah.
so it's not so unpredictable with the Joe Biden. Because you have plans and maps to this type of thing instead of I have a Diet Coke button and that's all I really care about.
That's right.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God. So we've
So,
probably got time for one more or something?
yes, we got one last one, the infrastructure bill.
Oh, okay.
Will it be effective in actually fixing anything?
Yeah. Okay. That sort of runs on from the last one nicely, really. And I'll just say to viewers in the live stream, if you want to be disturbed, there's a documentary called The Crumbling of America. And I was going, you find yourself hanging onto your couch. You know, you're going, oh, my God. You know.
Thank you,
But
Kate.
I think they meant well, but they are pointing this out that, you know, there was the original New Deal. When was that? 1920 something or early 30s after the crash. And that was the last time the government spent $1 on keeping things up and running, you know. So let's have a look.
Crumbling bridges, literally.
Mm.
Will it actually do anything?
Will it actually do anything?
Oh, Biden's about to speak somewhere.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, we'll let you go in a minute. Okay, will it do anything?
Thank you, Larry.
Hmm. Is Pete Buttigieg isn't infrastructure, he's transport. Is he part of this or not?
Under him, I would assume that there would be, I don't think do the roads and bridges go under the Department of Transportation? It must. Yeah, because the Port Authority is under the Port. Yeah, so he will be involved in this too.
That's a relief. Because I have to say the cards aren't fabulous.
No.
What did you get him?
It fixes some things, but not everything. That's number one. Number two, you have to, the part that concerned me under Donald Trump in infrastructure was the money would go to friends and family friends and things of that nature. You give them $1 million, they'll spend $38.60 on the road and keep the rest. It's called an operational cost.
Yeah.
So the 4 of Swords is here, and then the 5 of Pentacles. Everybody doesn't get enough money. So some projects have to go by the wayside, or they have to do patch jobs instead of actually fixing. The worry is going to be lost money, like money that, like I said, you give them $1 million and then they have operational costs.
Yeah,
so, even though it's under a Democratic administration, does not mean that everybody is aligned with Joe Biden's vision of what infrastructure is. And so, yes, the money is going to go out, but it is not going to go to the most, all of it's not going to go to the places where it's the most effective.
Yeah.
That's right.
Couldn't agree more. 7 of Cups, they're still deciding what to spend money on, and there's a lot of confusion about it. My big fear, and I've mentioned this on videos too, if they go down those public-private partnerships, you get these rogue cowboy builders and so forth. They treat their workers badly, and then the bridge falls down, and then you, the taxpayer, have to pay to put the bridge up again. So I think there's going to be a lot of rubbish. The Moon card, certainly not clear. Page of Cups, surprise, and I don't think it's going to be a fun surprise, because after about a year or 2 years, I see them going, where is the money? Where is the money. But I think, because I did hear difference between 2 and 3 years. I think 2 years, not much on the ground, not knowing where to start, all of that. But it's suddenly going to move and take off after 2 years. I think between 2 and 3, where they're going to sort of identify some of the worst mistakes that they're going to make in the first 2 years and get something going. I think the smart way would be to start in the poorest states to really create work in those states. Start in the red states.
Yeah,
We'll
I agree.
see.
Well, thank all 848 of y'all for hanging out with us. Thank you, Lena, for joining me.
Oh no, what a thrill! And don't forget, Johnny's birthday's coming up soon.
Yes. On the 24th, Lena's invited. So she wants to come
Oh,
back.
I'm going to so be there. Can
So
you have
I'll
a cocktail at 8 in the morning? I'm not sure if it's a good look, really.
You can. I mean,
Okay.
who's judging us?
When you're as old as I am, you can do what you like.
So
Thank you for
y'all,
having me on, Johnny. Thank
absolutely.
you.
You are welcome.
T-shirt.
Yes, T-shirt. You are welcome at any time over here. The House of Lenormand is going to go live next, y'all. So y'all keep an eye out for that. How old will I be? I always say old enough to know better, but young enough to do it anyway. And then Friday, we will be live on Jen Lynn's channel at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, Desiree, for our charity stream for the Humane Society International.
Fantastic.
So I will see y'all then. Thank you and have a good night.
And thanks for popping in, guys. See you next time.